I just beat Mother 3. Again. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday. Some of you might be saying, Steven, that doesn't seem like a big deal. You're the Mother guy. You and Mal know each other because of the Mother series. You have a bunch of Mother merchandise in your home, and you talk about the series all the time. Sure, but it may surprise you to find out that I haven't actually played Mother 3 in a long time. In fact, as far as I know, this is only maybe the third or fourth, 3.5 time that I've ever played it. When the game came out in April 2006, I had pre-ordered it. I had it imported from Japan. I have the box set that came with the Game Boy Micro, and I played through Mother 3 in Japanese. I can't understand Japanese, but StarMed.net had written up a pretty good guide for getting through the game, and I did. I got through the entire game in Japanese. 2 years later, when the fan translation came out, I played through it again, and that was when I was in college. I was, I think at the time it came out, I was a sophomore in college. And then I recall vaguely playing through some of it when I was either a junior or senior in college. Certainly not all of it, but some of it I remember playing on like the Xbox or something. And that's it. It's 2024. That means that I have not played this video game in probably like 14 years. And that's a long time, especially because in that time I've played through Earthbound several times. And in that time, Mouse played through Mother 3 more than once. But I haven't touched the game. So if you're not aware, pretty recently, emulators were allowed onto the iOS App Store. And again, this means nothing to Android people, but for iPhone users, this is a pretty big deal because this is like for the first time ever without jailbreaking or sideloading or whatever, like you can just have emulators on your phone. And so as soon as it was available, I got the Delta app, and I was like, you know what? This will be a good opportunity to replay Mother 3 because it's been so long. So that's what I did. I did that through the entire month of May. It was very convenient. I got to tell you, very cool to be able to just have a game in your pocket because you always have your phone, right? You don't always have your Switch. You don't always have a Game Boy, but you always have your phone. So like, it's convenient to play. The downside of using a screen is that like you basically have to play a turn-based RPG because without tactile feedback, it's impossible to play like a platformer or anything else. But Mother 3 was perfect, so I decided to play that. And I gotta tell you, after having played through it, and I mean really, really playing through it. In fact, I took my time. To illustrate how much I took my time, when I was playing through the game, and this will be like relatively spoiler free for the game, but as the game goes on, you're revisiting a lot of the similar locations, but like there's some element of passage of time. I would go back and talk to every single NPC. Like anytime anything of note happened, even if it was like you got a new party member in the same chapter, I would go back and talk to every NPC that I could, which might feel kind of crazy. It's certainly a way to play the game, but I had never done that. Since I've played Mother 3 so few times, I've never done that. Certainly not when I was playing in Japanese because I didn't understand it. But even when I played the fan translation, I wasn't that thorough when I played it for the first time. So that's what I wanted to do. I talked to everyone multiple times, as often as I could. And whenever there was branching dialogue, I save stated so I could get both answers. I wanted to really take this game in. I also went out of my way to get almost every single rare item, because like in Earthbound, there's 1 in 128 items. Thankfully, they're not that rare in Mother 3, but there's some enemies in the game that have 3% items, a 3% drop rate for these rare items. And I got most of those. I really, really took my time with the game. I wanted to absorb it. I wanted to appreciate it I mean, not for the first time, but fully for the first time. And I did. And I put a lot of time into it as a result. My end play time on the game was probably like 33 or 34 hours. So it was pretty lengthy. Certainly a normal Mother 3 playthrough would have been a few hours shorter than that, but I, again, went out of my way to talk to everyone. I have some things to report on, having played it again for the first time in years. First thing, it's a masterpiece. It is exceptionally good. Wow, it's a great game. It's not without some flaws and some weird things, but like, God, it's so good. It is tonally a little different from Earthbound, but not a ton. And the other thing, and you may already know this, but you really do need to play Earthbound first. I know that there will be some people that are like, no, you can play Mother 3 first. Don't. Just don't. Trust me. Play Earthbound first. You will get more out of the experience in Mother 3 if you play Earthbound first. You can save Mother 1 or Earthbound Beginnings for whenever. But yeah, Mother 3, fantastic. Really loved it. The combo system is so smart, and it's such a good way of keeping the player engaged in every fight. You know, like you're never going to just zone out when you're playing Mother 3. It's not going to happen because you're trying to get the combos for the battles, which is a very cool system. The characters are so imaginative and vivid. The story is both hilarious and heart-wrenching. And I think it would be a missed opportunity for me to not say that the fan translation is superb. I've talked about it for years and have tried to make sure people understand that it really shouldn't be called fan translation. It was translated by a professional translator. It was translated by Clyde Mandelin, who was also responsible for localizing some of your favorite anime, like Dragon Ball. Clyde has worked on all sorts of stuff over the years, and also just one of the most passionate Earthbound fans on the planet. So like, there was seriously no one more qualified for it, and I genuinely mean that. And having replayed through it with like fresh eyes, it just nails it. It just really nails it. It's very good. It's very good. Yeah, I just really enjoyed the experience. It's a game that I want to try and revisit a little more often than every 14 years, especially because I do play Earthbound. I mean, it used to be I played Earthbound annually. I don't do annually anymore, but I still play it more often than 14 years. So I'd like to play both Earthbound and Mother 3 a little bit more frequently, because it is really fantastic. One thing of note is that my memory of Mother 3 was that it is a much harder game than Earthbound. And while I think that that's probably still true, I think anyone that has played through Earthbound and moves into Mother 3 is going to be in for like a little bit of a shock, because they're going to be like, oh, this is different and a little harder than Earthbound. And I think that's true. That being said, at no point playing Mother 3 did I get a game over, and I can count the number of times that individual party members like died, like hit 0 HP on one hand. I did very well on this playthrough. And one of the things I really focused on that you don't have to do in Earthbound so much is just stat buffs. Like when I would go into a battle, everyone's defense gets raised, and then everyone gets shields or counters. I'm lowering the enemy's offense. I'm lowering their defense. I'm making them cry. I'm trying to stun them. I'm trying to do all of these things the first few turns in a battle, at least a battle with an enemy that I don't know. Like, I'm trying to make sure that I get control of that battle. And once I have control of that battle, then I go on the offensive. And that was my strategy for the game, and like I didn't have a single problem basically at any point. So that might be a good strategy for folks if you're going into it, because Earthbound, for the most part, you can kind of like bash your way through Earthbound. It's I always hesitate to say Earthbound is easy because like I do find it genuinely easy, but I also know that there's been some folks that struggled with it, and I have a ton of experience with the game, so it's not really fair for me to say that. But they are very, very different. The other thing in Mother 3 is that the rolling hit points are slower. And that is also very, very cool because the rolling hit points made Earthbound very dynamic. And Mother 3 is almost even more so because you have more time to make decisions. You have time to say, well, I might wait another, even though I've taken mortal damage, I might wait another round of combat before I do a healing spell because I think I can get away with it because the hit points are scrolling just a little bit more slowly than in Earthbound. One of the things that was pointed out to me, Brandon had mentioned it, which I guess I didn't do a whole lot of guarding in the game, so I didn't notice this, is that when you guard in Mother 3, your hit points roll even more slowly. I don't think it works like that in Earthbound, but again, I'm not usually defending, so I probably just don't know or don't remember. The one thing that I did not find terribly useful in Mother 3 was I don't think I used a Psychic Shield or Psychic Shield counter once. That never happened. That never happened. In fact, I was kind of keeping track. There's not a lot of enemies in the game that seem to use psychic abilities in the first place. I mean, you run into them, but the amount of times that I either noticed it or had trouble with that was like exceedingly small. So I didn't really struggle with that aspect of it. Other things about Mother 3, having a run button is so exceptionally good. It's really like I remember a lot of stuff about the game. So it's not like I was surprised that it had a run button or anything. And I remembered a lot of the story beats. I was surprised by that because it's been so long. But I think the reason that Mother 3 still lives pretty strongly in my head, despite not playing it forever and only playing it like 2 or 3 times, is that you develop memory better when you're younger. And I think Mother 3 at its release was like right at the tail end of when my brain was still developing and was still like grasping onto information. And especially, you have to kind of see this from my perspective. I had been an Earthbound fan since I was a child, waiting for Earthbound 64 and experiencing that sadness of it being canceled and being a part of this community, being excited about Mother 3, and then getting Mother 3 when it came out. Like, there will never be another game in my entire life that I have as much hype for as I had for Mother 3. It just won't happen. It is impossible. So I think that extreme excitement that this thing finally came out, combined with the fact that I was still at a stage in my life, I was 17 when Mother 3 came out. I was at a stage in my life where like I could still retain a lot of information. I think playing through it that first time, even though it was in Japanese, like I just soaked it all in. It was such a formative experience, I think, at the time. Yeah. The interesting thing is that I don't really remember the fan translation that well. I remember like the story beats of Mother 3. I remember the world. I remember all of that. But like the individual like lines, playing through it again now, it felt new because I haven't played it in 14 years, and I probably only played the fan translation like one time, and because of that, it really felt very fresh and new. There was a few things in there I definitely remembered. But it was kind of cool to experience it. It really kind of felt like I was playing Mother 3 for the first time. Not exactly, but in a big way it did. And that was just it was really cool. This has been a fun month for me because I've been going to bed and like playing like an hour or two of the game, and getting some time in here and there. And now as we get to the end of May, I can do this fun little extended vlog. It's mostly just for me to say that I got to play this game again, and it was just great. It was so great. I so thoroughly enjoyed my time with this game. The reason that I picked it up again, by the way, even though, of course, what I said earlier is true, like, yeah, it was a good time to play it, was also that Josh is going to be playing it in July and streaming it. And I was like, oh, it'd be a good chance for me to, like, refamiliarize myself with the game. And, that was kind of some of the motivation to do that. But then I've come out of the experience feeling completely different because, like, yeah, I'm excited for Josh, but I'm way more excited for me. Like, what a fun experience to revisit this game after so long. Yeah. Anyway, I know that was long. I had a lot to say, and I don't care if it's too long. I just wanted to get all this out here. The takeaway here is that if you've watched this far and you still haven't played Mother 3, you've been on the fence because you're like, oh, it's the fan translation. I'm going to wait for the official translation. Please don't. Please don't. First off, it's not coming. It's not coming. Maybe I'll eat those words one day, but I also won't. So, like, don't wait. Don't deprive yourself of something that is so good. And also, I strongly believe is going to be a superior product to any official thing that came out in the first place. You should play it. It's really fantastic. But again, I also highly recommend that you play Earthbound first if you haven't. You will enjoy Mother 3 way more if you play Earthbound first. It will resonate more with you. You just have to trust me. Anyway, I think that's it. I think I've said everything I need to say. Thank you all so much for watching. You are free to talk about Mother 3 in the comments, but do note that there could be folks reading the comments that have not played Mother 3 that are interested. So if you're going to talk about anything that could even potentially be spoilery, I just ask that you write, spoilers, and maybe hit return a few times, just out of courtesy for folks. But yeah. Talk about it. If you haven't played it, do it. It's really good. It's easy. It's easily one of the best games on Game Boy Advance. Like, very, very high. Very high up there. I don't think there's another game quite like it, to be frank. Obviously Earthbound, but like, there's nothing that really gets close to achieving what Mother 3 has and how interesting it is. And so, there's a lot of the game that just kind of feels like a victory lap for the Mother series. A lot of it feels like an homage to Earthbound. It's just a fun experience. All right, I gotta go to bed. Thanks for watching. Play Mother 3. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?